Today I'm going to be bullying your favorite streamers because of their Elden Ring builds. Yep, I'm going to be taking 5 of your favorite streamers and pinning each of them against a new game plus Godric. Also, we can rate them based off of our criteria, which we'll get to in a second. Let the rating begin. First is Cdawgva, the guy that voice acts every YouTube project and bows down to Latina women. No, really.
Listen to the feisty Latina lady. If she tells you to order pizza, order it, because you're gonna lose at the game if you don't, like I did.
What in the world is bro talking about? Before testing his build, my first impressions was that Cdawg was just running a normal strength build. I mean, this character is literally nuts from birth. The difference though is that he is running Bloodhound Step, which is mostly just a replacement for dodge roll, so I don't think that'll impact things that much. But let's just get straight into testing so we can hold him against our criteria, which we'll cover in a second. Alright, let's see how this build feels. Alright, Godric. Hello there, buddy. We're gonna try and use the Bloodhound Step quite a bit. Oh, if I failed at using the Bloodhound Step right there, that would have been pretty embarrassing. Alright, buddy. We need to calm down here. We need to calm down here. Why did I just throw down a glowstone? I did not mean to do that. I can see you now. You're not in the darkness anymore. I will say, I mean, this is just pretty much saying more about the Bloodhound Step than anything. The Bloodhound Step is so forgiving. I've never really gone fully in with the Bloodhound Step. Holy crap, I'm still sucking at the game. But yeah, this Bloodhound Step is making things very easy for me. Okay, let's not die here. It would honestly be pretty embarrassing if I died. I was kind of spamming my Bloodhound Step a lot, so we ran out of FP and I don't have any FP bottles, so this is interesting. Okay, there you go, buddy. You're dead. You're dead. Well, Godric went down, and pretty easily too. This is a very forgiving and easy build. Well, I guess I'll just hand it to my future self to give my full thoughts on this. Now that we've tested Connor's build, time to dig into the criteria. The first criteria we'll rate each build on is creativity. Cdawg scores pretty low in the creativity department. This really is just another strength build. The only thing that's different from other strength builds is the fact that he has a Bloodhound Step. And the Bloodhound Step doesn't even give him anything in the creative department. So I just have to be honest and say that Connor's build doesn't have any creativity at all. It's really just another strength build. But a place where he doesn't fail is our next criteria. The fun factor will be the second criteria that each build is rated on. And Connor's build absolutely wins here. It may just be another strength build, but strength builds are always fun. And as generic as the Bloodhound Step ability is, you can't deny that it is super fun. If you're new, Bloodhound Step makes you feel like a pro. And if you're an experienced player, you're invincible. You aren't the tarnished one anymore. You're the Doomslayer. And the Greatsword is straight up one of the most fun weapons you can use. The moveset makes you feel like an absolute powerhouse. It also makes it so easy to stagger the bosses. So overall, it's a super fun strength build. Mr. Cdawg voice actor definitely gets loads of points in the fun factor. And now time to move on to our final criteria. Viability. And this Latina appreciator does pretty good here. He's running a good strength build, and strength builds are always viable. Bloodhound Step makes survival easy, and the Guts Greatsword is always amazing. But some of his talismans are questionable, and he's also over-leveling some stats. But we'll dive into that once we give him his score. But overall, he does pretty good in the viability category. It's a solid strength build, and now it's time to give him his final score. Now, as for Connor's score, he has a pretty generic strength build that achieves a decent amount of fun while also being very viable. I'm gonna give CD's Nuts Virginia a 7 out of 10. This may seem harsh, but it really is just another strength build. But there are loads of things he can do to get a 10. The first issue with this build is that he has level 85 strength. You start really getting diminishing returns past level 60. And with his build, I don't see a point in leveling it past 60. This means if he changed this, he would have a whopping 25 levels he could literally put anywhere else. That's insane. Do you have any idea what a man could do with 25 levels in this economy? He could put that into mind and get more focus points for his Bloodhound Step, or he could throw it into Dex and get more mileage for his Greatsword scaling. Also, he has 60 Vigor. He doesn't need the Crimson Amber Medallion. He could put so many amazing talismans there. The world is your oyster, man. Same thing applies to the Star Scourge Heirloom. He's already over the strength cap, so it's really unnecessary. But these are no-life recommendations. Like, what player cares about stat caps? But either way, that's what he would have to change to get a 10. Congrats to Connor for getting a 7 out of 10. We have 4 more really popular streamers to rate. and one of them is a 10 out of 10 build that you just have to try. But let's get right into Jerma's build. I don't know a lot about Jerma other than the fact that he's the reason this god-awful image exists, so screw him for that. But before we get into the in-game testing, my first impressions of this build is that this armor makes Jerma look strangely curvaceous. I mean, seriously, Jerma's character is a man, and I'm straight, but Jerma's armor got me going. His character's hot and sexy body aside, my pre-testing thoughts is that this seems like a pretty normal magic build. He has the Carrion Regal Scepter, so for testing, we're gonna lean into using moon spells because of the buff the scepter provides. He also pairs that with the Moonveil Katana, so we get a healthy dose of melee and magic in this build. Respect to Jerma for not sitting in a corner and spamming magic like some other people do. But anyways, let's get straight into the test. Ooh, Godric, I'm back. I killed you a couple of seconds ago, but you're dead. Your grace is inside you. You can tell that I killed you before. Take this. Take Starlight. Haha, you can see me now. Oh, no. Alright, let's use Randy's Dark Moon. Take the moon. I moon you. That move wasn't as powerful as I would have liked it to be. Take that. Take that. Why? Does it have that short of a range? Come on, man. Oh. Dude, why does it feel like Randy's Dark Moon is just as powerful as the Ice Rack? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Holy crap, man. Randy's Dark Moon is underpowered. Come on. Come on. Attack. 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 Get him. Oh, that did so much damage. All right. Quickly, I need more light. Kill him with light. Oh, all right. That's a banger. Holy crap, man. A Duelist Moonblade is super fun. Oh, now we gotta dodge this. I can see your attack because of luminosity, so I will dodge it easily. Okay, yeah. I don't know why the moon did such little damage that first time. Alright, yeah, let's just pretend that that didn't happen. Yeah, but I don't know why the moon did such little damage that first time, but it's actually, like, super good. From the first try alone, you would think that it's actually pretty overpowered. Okay, we're not falling off the edge again. We're not doing that again. Stop, 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 stop. Dude, there's no way he's trying to out of bounds me. We're playing Elden Ring, not Super Smash Bros. Come on. Dude, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. Honestly, I don't even want to use Comet Azure because we know how Comet Azure is. We don't need to try that out. Okay, and you go down with the Moonveil, my friend. You are once again dead. And your grace is still here from last time. And as for Jerma's build, honestly, falling off the edge aside, that battle was a lot easier than any of the other times that I've tried it with any other builds. So I guess I'll hand it over to my future self to give my full thoughts. After testing Jerma's build, my thoughts on it have changed. I thought it was going to be just a generic magic build, but the spell choices and the use of the Moonveil really made this build a blast to play with. When it comes to creativity, I gotta say, Jerma did good in this department. There is definitely a meta when it comes to magic. Stay in a corner and keep dealing damage from afar till the boss kills himself because of how annoying you are. But Jerma doesn't fill that mold at all. He has the spells Glintstone, Ice Crag, and Ranni's Dark Moon to fulfill all his long and mid-range needs, while also having a Duelist Moonblade and Moonveil to handle all his short-range needs. And we can't forget about Luminosity, because the human eye needs light to see. The combination of these make a build that's equal in both long and close-range play. It's absolutely awesome seeing people actually make use of the cool spells in Elden Ring and not just use Comet Azure all game. So Jerma definitely takes the victory home when it comes to creativity. And when it comes to fun, as I mentioned before, this is a super versatile build that works at all ranges. Every situation the boss put me in, I felt like I had an answer to everything. Oh, Godric knocked me across the map? Alright, I'm gonna just throw a moon at you. Oh, Godric is engaging me at mid-range? Ice Crag, he's getting a little handsy. Good thing I have a katana. And I can't forget about a Duelist Moonblade. It's just so fun to use. Overall, this build is insanely fun. I never felt like I was forced into a specific playstyle with this build or that I was cheesing the boss with my magic. So I think that this easily wins in the fun department too. Touching on viability, I spent most of Jerma's segment talking about this, but the versatility is really what wins this category for Jerma. He has a healthy collection of spells with pretty decent FP economy, and once you lose your FP, you can just switch to the Moonveil, which we all know is amazing. And with the fact this build has an answer for almost any situation you can get yourself in, makes me have to admit that this build is super viable and insanely strong. Jerma's build accomplishes being a magic build that's super strong, while not having to stick to a gimmick or overusing an attack. It's just a good and fun build, which isn't something you can say about a lot of magic builds. Jerma gets an 8.5 out of 10. This build is super fun and strong, but there is no reason he needs a Stargazer Heirloom. He's in the end game. I mean, Jerma, come on, seriously? You're at 68 intelligence, and you only need 60 to use the Regal Scepter. I mean, dude, you only have 4 talisman slots, and you're putting one to waste completely. Replace the Stargazer talisman for a talisman that helps you better manage your FP, and stop dressing like a femboy Hooters employee. And then you would have a 10 out of 10 build on your hands. Emiru's build. If you don't know who Emiru is, all you need to know is that she's a feminine life form that's super talented at offering thoughtful commentary through her streams.
Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow.
I don't really have many pre-test thoughts for this one. It just looks like a quality build. But the weapon looks interesting, so let's just jump straight into testing. This seems like another pretty basic run-of-the-mill build, so I'm thinking that this won't be very different from like Connor's and all that. But I don't know, we'll see. We will see. This Ash of War could definitely spice things up. All right, let's try and get this Ash of War in. This is an opening. All right. That didn't do a shocking amount of damage. It's a good Ash of War and it has a lot of aura and it's like moveset and everything. But overall, the jump attack is almost as good as the Ash of War. Let's try out the Ash of War again though, just to see. Here, don't do that. You have to actually hit him. All right, there we go. We staggered him, as you would expect to happen with any greatsword. And now he's cutting off his arm. Cool. And while we're testing Emiru's build, you should go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subs, and everyone who subscribes becomes a part of this amazing community. Yeah. So I will admit, the Ash of War is kind of underwhelming when you consider just how good the jump attack is. I don't really see the use in using FP when the jump attack exists like this. Like, that's perfectly good. Like, tell me why would you would use the Ash of War when you have that. But here, let's try out the Ash of War again. Let's not write it off like this. Oh, it double hits. That changes things a little bit. All right, the damage is a little bit more solid than you would expect. And also another thing to note is that it doesn't consume a whole lot of FP. So I guess when you have the double hit, and I assume the Black Blade is a weakness for some bosses, I imagine that can actually get pretty good depending on what boss you're on. And I haven't actually tried out the light attack a lot. Let me go for that. Oh. Holy crap. Okay. Alright, and you're dead once again, Godric. Alright, I guess this boss fight is just gonna go on forever. But anyways, this weapon was surprisingly a lot better than I thought. I still think the Ash of War isn't all that, but it's still a decent Ash of War, and it doesn't consume a whole lot of FP. And the weapon's actual damage is really good. The jump attack is amazing, and the light attack is really surprisingly super good too. This build was super easy to play with, and I guess for the rest of my deeper thoughts, I'll hand it over to my future self again. After playing with Emiru's build, I gotta say my opinion has changed a lot. Before we get into officially judging her, I need to point out the fact that Emiru changed her build a lot throughout her playthrough. I just grabbed the build she walked into the final fight with. I just needed to point that out just in case you see her playing with another build and think that I pulled this out of nowhere. When it comes to creativity, Emiru doesn't go far in this category. I think she was just trying to make a generic build so she could just try loads of stuff out, which is fair because it is her first playthrough. But it results in a super boring build. Even her talismans just give general stat boosts. One plus in her category though is the weapon. This weapon has so much aura. The special ability is literally imbuing it with black flames and violently striking your opponents down. So yeah, Emiru's build isn't creative, but her weapon is cool, I guess. Honestly, she barely gets any points in this category. When we're talking about fun factor in this build, Emiru does a pretty good job. Granted, that's only because of the weapon. Actually, you know what? I'll also give her credit in this zone because because of her stats. They're so even that you can just do anything with this build. But for the most part, it's her weapon that wins for this category. I mean, it's a great sword, and all great swords are fun, but this one's moveset in particular is super strong. And the fact the ability attacks 2 times is a cool little cherry on top. This sword's so cool that I'm gonna have to use it in my own playthrough. So Emiru without a doubt takes a decent win in this category. So how viable is Emiru's build? Super viable. It's like the vanilla ice cream of Elden Ring. You know, you can just put anything with these stats and be fine. She definitely doesn't need some of the talismans that she has, which I will get to in the scoring. But to be honest, those aren't even a big deal. Let's just score Emiru. Emiru has a generic build, but has an absolutely sick sword. But I think the very essence of this build is trying to enable her experimentation. It's not even trying to be a good build, so I'm essentially just harassing someone who's just trying to play the game. But I give her a 7. Like I said earlier, this build isn't trying to be amazing. So I'm not gonna say what she would have to do to get this build to a 10, because to do that, you would have to change the very bones of this build. But I will say, she has enough vigor. She doesn't need the Crimson Amber Medallion. But since she's switching weapons constantly, it's not like that's even a big deal because it's staying on theme with not committing to anything. But the only other thing I have to say is that she could get a higher variant arsenal charm. If you're gonna use a talisman slot, you might as well get more equip load. But she probably just missed them, so it's fine. So yeah, she gets a 6.5. Above average because of her cool sword. And now it's time for Asmongold's build. My pre-test thoughts on this build is that it looks pretty sick. I don't see many people running dual wield halberds, and I think Asmongold's dual halberd jump attack build looks so cool. The one clip I've seen of Asmon playing Elden Ring was him melting through a boss's health bar with this build, so I'm super excited to test this. But before we get into the testing, I gotta say it. If you watch Asmongold, you know he's balding. But why is his Elden Ring character balding too? He really went into character creation and went out of his way to make his character balding. Like, dude, aren't you supposed to use video games to escape reality? Alright, let's get into testing. I'm gonna start off with jump attacking you. Oh, I like that. I really like that. Holy crap, man. Alright. Oh, missed that one. Alright, buddy. I'm moving in. I'm moving in. Blah. Okay. Dude, I wonder how quick we're gonna get a stagger off. This is insane. And we already have a stagger. Or is that phase 2? Wait, that's phase 2. I keep mistaking phase 2 with the stagger, man. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy staggered super quick. We're gonna speedrun a stagger. Whoa. Okay. Let's try just a normal attack this time. Alright. That was so unbelievably fast. Dude, this build was so much fun to use. Holy crap, man. It's such a... I have so much to say about this build, but it was a super fun build, and the boss was super easy with it. Like, holy crap, man. That is probably the easiest boss I've had so far in this entire video. But I have so many thoughts on this. I'm just gonna hand it over to future me to just get those thoughts out right now. Wow, that testing session did not last long at all. Let's get straight into it. Asmon's build absolutely wins in the creativity category. This man is showing how much of a gamer he is. He perfectly put together every piece of gear he needed to make a full-on jump attack build. Jump attacks are so good, and this man fully leaned into that. Most people I see play this game get the golden halberd at the start and never touch that thing again. But Asmon turned the thing into a goated endgame weapon. And I also haven't seen a lot of people use the gargoyle's halberd either. This is just a Chad build. Asmon gets full scores in creativity. When it comes to the fun category, just give it to Asmon already. Just do it. Jump attacks are already the most fun attack type, and you're telling me I just get to spam it? Poor Godric didn't even get a word in. For the first time in Elden Ring history, I felt like the one who had an advantage. I was the one who knocks. I was the storm that was approaching. And the Dragon Great Shield adding that huge resistance is just a cherry on top, making you feel untouchable. This is the most fun Elden Ring build I've ever used. Was it viable? Did you guys see that health bar? Yeah, it's crazy viable. When you wield this against a boss, it's like those videos that are like 1000 degrees knife against insert item here. Let's just stop wasting our time. Asmon gets a 10. I didn't know I needed a dual wield halberd jump build, but now I do. I could comment on the fact that he has 99 strength, which is well over the cap, but at this point, the build is such a Chad build, 99 strength is probably more of a statement. We have found a true gamer. Too bad he became a political streamer. But hats off to Asmon for this build. Now for the final streamer of this video. We have Disguised Toast. I gotta be honest, the only thing I know about this guy is that he played Among Us at least once. And when it comes down to my pre-test thoughts, this is a Moonveil build. Yup, it's a Moonveil build. And with a shield, which actually isn't common. Let's just give it a chance. To testing we go. Alright, right off the bat, the shield doesn't have any Ash of War, so we can just use the Moonveil's Ash of War without having to unequip. Let's see how the shield is. Can you dodge this, buddy? Oh, this is pretty good. This negates 100% of physical damage. All right. Dude, this is like a really solid shield. There you go, buddy. I negate all your damage. That's what you get, buddy. Yep, let's negate it again. Oh boy, I sure do love negating damage. All right, let's try and really get in there now. Yep, we'll just kind of walk. Oh, we got knocked over. I will say, it's not every day you see a katana used in tandem with a shield. It's not completely unheard of, but it's definitely not usual. Come on, Dragon Boy. I'm going to tear you apart. I'm going to tear you apart. Let's actually start using some of Moonveil's abilities. Holy crap, man. This is absolutely insane. I keep forgetting just how good Moonveil is. Like, this is a top tier katana for a reason. And now that we've lost some health, let's actually try and use that talisman that regenerates our health a little bit. Okay, that is at an absolute snail's pace. The only way I can see that being useful is like when you're in the normal open world and you don't want to use a flask after you finish the fight, so you just walk around and let it just automatically regenerate. But in the boss fight, this is almost completely useless. Unless you really want to make like loads of space and just be like, wait. Let my health regen. But dude, at that point, you'd be waiting like 50 years just waiting for your health to regen. All right, let's finally finish this guy off. There you go, Godric. You are dead once again. Toast's build was a bit of a surprise. There were a ton of parts to this build I didn't expect to be as impactful as they were. So let's just get straight into the details. When it comes to creativity, Toast is lacking. It's just a Moonveil build. And even though I do think the shield makes for a nice addition, it's just such a nothing burger in the creativity category. I will say, the Moonveil isn't the Rivers of Blood or Nagakiba, so you can argue that he didn't go for the biggest meta. But Moonveil is still kind of meta. I guess it's a little creative because of the shield. I'll just give that to him. But is Toast's build fun? Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's 99% because of the Moonveil. That thing is just a dream to use. But the shield also adds a healthy layer of fun. The 100% damage negation was huge and made me feel like an immovable object, because I was. And that's super fun. Toast gets good marks in the fun category. Now in the viability category, the Moonveil is of course an amazing weapon, so it goes without saying this build is super viable. But the shield is also a big factor in its viability. I don't always want to dodge an attack, and when there's an attack I don't know how to dodge yet, it's a godsend having a shield that will just negate all the damage. It can replace dodging in a lot of cases if you use it right. It's also great for a first playthrough, which makes me surprised I don't see things like it more often. I do have some problems with the talismans, but we'll get to that in the scoring. But I think Toast kills the viability category. And as for Toast's score, he has a cool Moonveil build. Don't get me wrong, he has questionable talismans, but overall, he has an interesting take on the Moonveil build, which was way more fun to play with than I expected. So I'm gonna give Toast a 7.5 out of 10. As I said before, Toast's build is super fun and viable to play with, but the talisman section is just a mess. I mean, really? Radagon's Scar Seal in the endgame? You're taking more damage to boost your stats when most of your useful stats are already where they need to be. I'm also not a fan of the Blessed Dew talisman, and if you're gonna have the Arsenal Charm, you could get a higher version of it. But once again, probably just miss the higher versions. So I'm not gonna go too hard on that. And what in the world are you wearing? You're rocking the Dung Eater Greaves? Like, what am I looking at, man? Change all that and you could get near a 10 out of 10. 7.5 honestly isn't bad, Toast. If you want me to bully a streamer you like, leave them down in the comments so I can get to them next time. And if I missed something or you have suggestions for their builds, feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you want to see what your Elden Ring build says about you, click the video on the screen. And my closet door won't close for some reason, which has me in a bad mood. Please like and subscribe to make me feel better. And if you do, see you next week.